So when you want to give like an interview after, give a postmortem, you think you would go to a traditional media outlet? That way they can ask some, tough questions. Instead, the Obama crew that ran Kamala Harris' campaign went to the Obama Bros, which were the speechwriters, the comms team.
Pod Save America.
Pod Save America. And this is what they had to say.
We would do an interview, and the questions were small and processy and about
dumb.
They were not informing a voter who was trying to listen to learn more or to understand. That does a disservice to voters, and being up against a narrative that we weren't doing anything or we were afraid to have interviews is complete. And also took hold a little bit, and we just gave us another thing we had to fight back for that Trump never had to worry about.
Well, I mean, look, everyone could look back. This is the time to be honest. It's the only time.
You have nothing to lose.
That mode of midterms. But when she says she blames the people for asking small questions, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. I blame the friendly questions that we got from friendly journalists.
Layups.
Where 77% of all the your coverage was positive. Where something like 85% of all Trump's was negative. And you blame the questions. If you get a question of what is it going to take to win, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Because if I know what it takes to win and what my vision is, thank you for the easy question. I will take advantage of it. You know it with your book interviews. If someone says, tell me about Under His Wings, you can't be like, what a bad question.
Right.
I'm going to tell you books. You say, okay, I'm going to tell you about the content of it. It is an opportunity to show yourself. And what she missed is an opportunity to hop on the podcast. They keep on debating the Joe Rogan podcast. It's the format. The format is, I'm not really going to ask you about what you did or Joe Biden. I'm going to ask you about you. And are you comfortable talking besides recipes? What else makes you up?
Yeah.
Why did you get married late? What went into those decisions? Yeah. What was it like growing up in San Francisco, with a single parent? So that's when you have an opportunity over the course of 3 hours to show your personality. Trump did it, but the format worked for Trump. Andrew Schultz and these guys, they were funny.
That's when he's his best.
He's self-effacing. Yeah. So if you are self-effacing and you have a degree of humility, that's why you love the format. And then you hop in with 60 Minutes, you answer some questions circuitously, and they make you seem smart.
Yeah.
They edit your answers, and you're still complaining, and then you were scared to do an interview. Don't lie about it. You didn't put her in front of cameras till after the DNC.
Yeah.
So true. Emily, they blamed Trump, actually, when it came to that. They said, look, they were actually trying to do the interview that same day that Trump did it in Houston, but they just really couldn't make it work. It's to Brian's point, though, they really didn't want to do the interview. There were people within the campaign staff that didn't think that she would shine, A. And number two, as James Carville made it very clear, the young people on the campaign, the crazy, blue hair, purple hair.
Don't do Rogan.
They said, don't do Rogan.
That's right. And the thing is, for someone that effectively attempted to have us believe in her as a leader, and by the way, she was the current vice president this entire time, and yet remains unchallenged. To your point about all of these interviews, everything she said was never challenged. She never had a follow-up question. Contrast that with President Trump during a debate where everyone said it was 3-on-1. Everything he said was challenged, twisted, manipulated, and pushed back. She had every softball, every option, every opportunity, every time. And yet she wants us to believe that she's the victim, that the scheduling didn't work out, that she can't make something work. And yet you want me to put my faith in you as a commander-in-chief? You think I can trust you with the nuclear codes, with diplomacy, with representing me on the national and global stage, and you can't even articulate the answer to a softball question as to economic policy or why you flip-flop.
She should have never did the rally in Houston. There was no shot in winning Texas.
Right.
There was absolutely no shot. It would have been more beneficial to the campaign to do the interview than do that rally in Texas. They had this, just like the poll that was released days before Iowa. There was no shot in winning Iowa. Everyone knew it. It was an outlier. Instead, they wanted the voters. They said the same thing about Florida. There's a shot. We're seeing some movement. Ron DeSantis has dominated in Florida for the last election cycle, okay? Midterms and his governor's race. So There was no data to suggest that they had a path there, but they were telling people this to try to excite. Just like at the convention, Brian, they said there was so much joy. There was no joy. No one liked her. And we saw it at every swing state when she lost every single swing state.
Right. So I think there's a lot there. I just think that finally, the question that destroyed her campaign, and everyone agrees, was, how are you different than Joe Biden?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So you
By Sonny Austin.
So in retrospect, the questions were too simple. You can't get simpler than that. If you can't hit an underhand pitch,
It's a layup.
why should I give you a fastball?
Exactly. Gosh,
This is true.
nailing it.
Wow.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.